Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today for our weekly mayoral news conference. We do not have a lot today. We do anticipate a few questions. I'll let the mayor begin by making a few remarks. We'll hear from a couple of guest speakers. We'll take a few questions. We are on a limited time frame, so we won't have a whole lot of time for questions.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'll dive right into what we have for you today before taking the questions. First, I'd like to recognize the particularly violent weekend that we suffered. We want to make certain that our prayers are with each family affected by the violence in our city. I do want to note that our Jackson Police Department is hard at work in order to make certain that they bring those responsible to justice. Without going into specifics, I know that they do have information that they will be building on as they try to hold someone responsible. Also want to take this moment to remind our residents that the Jackson Police Department has been particularly successful in their crime solvability rate. They're over 70% in their crime solvability rate, which is nearly 20 points higher than the national average. So I say that only to say that I have a great deal of faith in their ability to solve these matters. I've also been made aware that there was a statement by one of our council members at a press conference this weekend which falsely stated that I was not in support of his ordinance related to gas stations. That's not true. I've never said such. I've never held that opinion. There was a question from our city attorney's office that questioned the constitutionality or the legality of what was being proposed. I never said anything publicly, and if you want to know what I said to legal privately, I went over to them and I just said, make it constitutional, right? Find out the route that we could go by making this ordinance happen, which would not put us in conflict with the law. That's my only statement towards that. In fact, I've directed at some time now, not only our Jackson Police Department, our fire department, and our planning department to have particular focus not only on gas stations but on hotels in our city, and we've been working on that for some time. So any statement to the contrary is just patently false and without merit and without any support by any facts. Moving forward, I want to announce Get Certified Day. Our Planning and Development Department has created a special event aimed at helping prospective and current business owners get their licenses. It's a one-stop shop and an all-day event that takes place tomorrow. Also, we are still searching for a local festival manager for the Folk Festival, the National Folk Festival. I've heard a lot of people that have taken note to the job listing or the posting, but we are still looking for that local festival manager. This person will help facilitate the needs and logistics of our upcoming Folk Festival. It is a full-time job for the right person and could be an amazing opportunity. First and foremost, they should be clear that the Folk Festival will be in the city of Jackson for 3 years. So you at least have the 3-year position under the Folk Festival title. And it is our full expectation and desire to create a legacy event that goes on in perpetuity. And so that person, I would expect, will have an opportunity in that vein going forward. And so we're looking for people with experience and talent and ability in putting on events and working through logistical matters. I'd like to ask my good friend Thea Faulkner to come and join me. Huh? Oh, sorry, Yika. Did you want to say more about you? Come on, let's share more about the Folk Festival since I skipped over you. We're still on the Folk Festival. All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
So I think the mayor covered it. Just to kind of remind everybody out there, the Folk Festival is a 3-year event. It's a free festival that will have stages with continuous music and dance performances, children's activities, a folk arts marketplace, and regional and culturally diverse events. The candidate will work closely with the city and the National Council for the Traditional Arts in order to make sure that we can put on this event, which will have approximately 5 to 7 stages located in downtown Jackson. The candidate that we're looking for should be have some experiences in fundraising, grant writing, and will also manage a 3-person team to put forth the festival. Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm being asked to talk about the Get License Day as well. So we decided to put forth this business licensing day so that we can help prospective and current business owners. Some potential business owners may not understand the requirement nor understand the requirements necessary to become licensed here in the city of Jackson. And so we'll be in the Hood building tomorrow from 8:30 to 4:30 in the first floor conference room to assist any business owner who wants to go ahead and put forth their licensing requirement. And this is an entire effort by the City of Jackson's Department of Planning and Development. Thank you.
I encourage those prospective business owners, entrepreneurs to take advantage. I am constantly stopped by individuals who are interested in starting a business, interested in working with the city, but are unaware of the requirements. So we want you to come take advantage of our Planning and Development Department. Before I go to the next one, I do want to take a moment and say publicly what I've said to Yika on a number of occasions. She is one of our bright stars within our Planning and Development Department. Not only did she play a significant role in imagining the Folk Festival coming to Jackson, she's been doing a great job, and I'm constantly stopped by people who are working in different respects with our Planning and Development Department that compliment her. I say this with, almost trepidation, because anytime I point to a bright star, somebody tries and snatches them up. But I don't think that it would be appropriate of me not to acknowledge it and to commend her. So we appreciate your hard work, Ika. And now I will invite my good friend Thea Faulkner forward as we talk about JPS Beautification Day, which is 2 weeks away. We are 2 weeks away from the start of our school year, which starts August 5th. But our educators need help now, and JPS is calling for all hands on deck level of support at our schools for JPS Beautification Day. Thank you. She said I ignored her earlier when I came in, so I had to make sure I got a good hug from her on the way up here.
Great afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity, and Ms. Payne. So as Mayor Lumumba said, Jackson Public Schools is hosting what we are calling Beautification Day. It's an annual event called All Hands on Deck. It is scheduled for this Friday from 7 a.m. to 12 noon. And we are calling on the community to assist us in making our schools ready to greet our scholars, right? Because everything we do, we have to focus on our children, and that's what this is all about. So I'm sure you all know that this year we had a repurposing plan that consolidated 13 of our schools, which means we need a lot of help with helping teachers get their classrooms organized and ready for the first day of school, enhancing school entrances, and cleaning up school grounds. There is a flyer like this. I have copies for those of you who are in the room, but it is also on our social media sites and our website. There's a QR code available if you'd like to register, list each school. Once you register, we will send you a list of projects that each principal has requested to help get the projects done. Again, all hands on deck. We're asking for the community to help us be ready for the first day of school. So thank you again, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity.
Your investment in time and putting forth the labor suggests to our children that they are valuable and worth our time and attention. So I do encourage, whether you have children that are in the JPS system or not, that you support the JPS Beautification Day. With that, I believe that's all the things that we had prepared for you today, but we're ready to take the questions that you may have. Yes.
Mayor, I wanted to ask you about there have been a couple of questions as to the legality of that amended contract with Tim Bennett involving Smith Wills. Some allegations that it wasn't the in-kind payment that the city was accepting for renovations that took up to $400,000 of the city, and whether or not the city can statutorily do that. If it's considered debt forgiveness.
Yeah, so let me say this. I wish that level of attention and scrutiny was being placed on Smith Wills Stadium when we had a management group that was operating it for free. They weren't paying the city a dime, and their contract allowed for that, right? And I won't get into the differences of those management groups. I just let people do their own research. But I'll also say, and this is to the residents of Jackson, you know, it may be, but I would suggest that there is no coincidence that you had state legislation that passed that talked about how to take over Smith Wills Stadium without naming the property, but giving the legal rights to the property and sliding it in a bill. I would then say maybe it's coincidence that then Jackson Jambalaya goes on a rant about Smith Wills Stadium. Then also maybe it's coincidental that Councilman Ashby Foote starts talking about Smith Wills Stadium and wanting to know that. And then lastly, maybe it's coincidental that now the state auditor has taken a particular interest in Smith Wills Stadium and the legality over this contract that we feel works in the best interest of the city of Jackson. While simultaneously, our auditor that we hire, who isn't even supposed to be auditing for that year, wants to ask questions about it too. It doesn't seem coincidental to me. I'll leave it in the hands of the residents to think that if this is part and parcel of what we've been experiencing in the city of Jackson. But we will comply. Our city attorney is aware of that. I don't know if they have the rights to demand the time frame that they've asked for a response, and our city attorney is looking into that. But we will gather all necessary documents and support why we believe that this contract is in the best interest of the city of Jackson and why it moves forward. Just last week, what I will use this moment for is to promote the Sister City agreement with Rio del Negro, Colombia, which is not only an opportunity for an athletic exchange that our residents can see and take advantage of and could be a economic boost for our city, where we see some of the premier talent, up-and-coming talent that will be playing in the major leagues at some point in time in the near future, or at least some of them, but also an agreement that allows for a agricultural exchange that not only could potentially benefit the city of Jackson, but the state of Mississippi. As we talk about the transport of coffee and plants that are often sold at retailers like Lowe's and Home Depot. So we're going to push forward. Again, we're working with a proven developer, and particularly as it relates to baseball development. He not only formally managed Smith Wills years and years ago, I think even under Harvey Johnson's administration, but then he played a significant role in the development of Trustmark Park, where the Braves now play in. He's been a part of the development with the Shuckers on the Gulf Coast and developed that. He's also been a part of the Brewers organization and the Braves organization. And so I think that we have more than enough justification and reason to believe in his ability to help us in the city of Jackson. And we're simply trying to advance the interest of our city and make certain that we put forth not only a premier facility for our residents, but for visitors alike. Yes, sir.
Can you talk to us about this cut program, accepting assistance for lawn care maintenance for the city?
Yes, I can. We've actually spoken about it the previous two press conferences. So we're asking those residents, our solid waste division, which is in control of our lawn maintenance program, have received requests from several neighborhood associations that say that they want to help the city of Jackson. And so as people have asked how they can help, they organized a program that allows them to actually use some of their equipment in support. This is not passing the responsibility to anyone else, but it is being intelligent enough to accept a helping hand, a lending hand, as it has been offered to us. And so we're going to take advantage of that. You already know that we had contracts that were passed the last council meeting to help augment the cutting services and the needs across the city. And we'll have our workforce out and about trying to handle the remaining responsibilities. I will share again that I am continuing to review what makes sense going forward, how much of our cutting responsibilities need to be maintained in-house, and what we should contract out, like most cities, in fact, in the greater Jackson area do. They now contract out most of those services. And so there are reasons why I think it is advantageous to look at that, and so we'll be looking at that in the budget cycle. Here, and then you, Charlie. Yes.
I want to ask something that's kind of different. Welty Library, I think they're going to try to tear that down sometime this year. What are the efforts on trying to replace that now, or even trying to replace Tisdale and the library on the guy?
So Welty should be, each time I get an update, it's, kind of a lingering, issue or two that has to be dealt with. We believe most items of value to have been taken out of Eudora Welty at the moment in time. I think our publications division has one last piece of equipment in there, and they're trying to see, based on the value of that equipment, whether it's advantageous to try to go through the extraordinary measures of getting it out. Extraordinary measures because the elevator does not work, and so it'd be costly to fix an elevator only to demolish the building shortly after. And so they've been looking at options of, punching a hole through the building, that if that particular equipment is of significant value, to get a crane and lift it out. And so that's kind of one of the final pieces that has to be figured out. But that will be demolished very, very soon. Hopefully, it's a matter of weeks. Certainly don't anticipate months, but that's what's going on.
The effort to get a
Yeah, so I was going there. So the efforts to replace it have been ongoing. It's been nonstop. The problem is that we have to find a suitable location, which is downtown, that has sufficient parking, that can meet the needs of our downtown population to do it. Not only do we believe that our residents deserve and need a library in the downtown area, one of the jewels, one of our four mothers, right, in terms of the legacy and history of this city, is the great Eudora Welty, right? And so we want a library named after her. And so we're working to make that happen. Some of the locations that we initially wanted they're not offering it for sale. They don't want to sell it. We've not only been talking to, I've talked at certain points with Hinds County Board of Supervisors, and I just had a meeting at the end of last week with Peyton Smith, the chair of the Library Commission. We talked about, specifically in that meeting, we talked about a new location, potential location for the Tisdale Library. So there's a couple of ideas on the table there, and we're trying to sort through what works best. So we have what we believe, while I'll never suggest that we have all of the money that we need for anything, we do have some money identified for some of our, not only new libraries, but for modifications and repairs to the pre-existing libraries. And so we've been in consultation with them. We're just trying to make certain that we're thoughtful and that we make the decisions that make the most sense for the population we serve. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
any updates on the traffic light situation, cost and time?
We will publish it to you. We're going to continue to publish it for you. We were talking about that on our director's call today. Melissa has it in her hands right now, and so she'll make sure that y'all all get a copy, and we continue to update. I've actually seen the crews out. They're making repairs. I know that the one on Briarwood and North State Street, State Street, was fixed this past week. And you want me to run through it right quick? I was going to run through it for you, but she doesn't want me to. But the list is being reduced consistently. So we're seeing progress in that regard, and we're going to continue to publish those traffic lights until we have them all repaired. And then, like I said, the next step is for a proactive program that looks at the age of this infrastructure and the anticipation of its failure. We can't anticipate those people who hit them, but we can anticipate the age of them. I'm sorry, Charlie, you were supposed to be next. Yeah.
Was the councilman you were referring to at the start of this press conference, was that Councilman Stokes?
That would be Councilman Stokes. And I only avoided saying his name because, you know, I just want to be clear that I'm not trying to be a part of an ongoing back and forth, right? Like, there are more important things and more significant responsibilities we owe the residents of Jackson. So that's not where I'm trying to be, but I owe them honesty, and I don't want them to be deceived in the information that's being provided. At no point in time, check your recordings, have I ever said that I'm against an ordinance that would look at security measures for our gas stations or any other place. In fact, I felt that we were dealt a significant blow when the state legislature changed its law in terms of liability on premises. That was the start of many businesses taking away the security personnel that they were employing at that time. So I've never been against it, never suggested anything near it. And so to say that is just an unnecessary lie. Right.
And then lastly, what did you think about Joe Biden dropping out and endorsing Kamala Harris?
Well, I would first recognize not only has Joe Biden's administration been particularly supportive of the city of Jackson, and I want all Jackson residents to take notice of that, right? We've received historic funds to support our infrastructure, to support many of our operations in the city of Jackson. So we should have a moment of gratitude for that. In addition to his success as president, he has a lifetime of service that I think we should recognize. And I have already joined a group of my mayoral friends, and I have endorsed Kamala Harris. And so it's I'm sure it'll be an interesting electoral cycle going forward. I will have the privilege of going to the Democratic National Convention. It's my first time. I didn't know that it was going to be this historic when I decided to go, but I will be supporting her and look forward to her making the case going forward. All right. Last one.
And just one more question.
Yeah.
It's Smith Wills related, but it's actually about the original contract from 2019.
The original contract with Tim Bennett.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The city had agreed to $125,000 a year in rent payments, plus, the percentages of the sales, just specifically the rent payments, which may seem like it's kind of in line with what Trustmark or other stadiums would probably dole out when they're looking at 70-plus games a year.
Mm-hmm.
Was that kind of a pie-in-the-sky ask, considering how much or the amount of games or participation that Smith Wills sees? I mean, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but I'm just asking about that from the standpoint of now looking back on it, looks like that was an impossible ask.
Well, I think hindsight being 20/20, what we did not see at that time was a little thing called COVID that certainly delayed a lot of the imagined progress for Smithville at that time. I don't think that it was pie in the sky in the sense that we've been in significant conversations with MLB and the programs that they want to run out of Smithville Stadium. I had the tremendous honor to talk to Hank Aaron and talk about running a program that he felt honored his name here in the city of Jackson. And so being a part of those conversations, seeing someone who can bring those individuals to the table, I don't think it's pie in the sky. I think that we have to, I don't think it'll be easy work, and I think that we have a lot of work to do going forward. But considering those factors that we did not know at that time, we felt that it was in our interest in order to renegotiate that particular agreement. So I'll leave the particulars of that to our city attorney as he, oversaw that process, and any other further conversation to both the city attorney and the Planning and Development Department and Parks and Rec. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.